What's going on, family? This is the second time today that you're seeing Manuel Godoy. I came on 7 o'clock in the morning and we were turning it on for the campaign. Black Sands Anime Round is over 1.75 million, so I'm pretty happy about that. We're moving pretty quickly. And now I got with me one of my special guests, a colleague of mine, been working with him for about 2 months now, Ernest, Crim, and he's actually one of these hardcore educators. So I'm gonna let him introduce himself and what he does, and then we're gonna get into this conversation.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, Manuel. It's a pleasure to be here, brother. My name is Mr. Ernest Crim III. I call myself your favorite Black history teacher. I'm a former classroom teacher for 12 years. Now I'm a public educator that uses Black historical narratives and a hate crime experience I had to empower people to advocate for justice. And along the way, I was also nominated for an Emmy. So that's a big deal in my world because I never anticipated the content I would create will lead to something like that. And I'm a soon to be published author on a publisher for the first time. I got a book, How Black History Can Save Your Life, coming out March 25th.
Yeah, I've seen the promotions for that book. That book is definitely gonna be fire for sure. At the end of the day, man, we kind of tackle on this on both sides of the fence, right? Is that you know our history, especially in the classroom, is boiled down to slavery, right? Slavery, civil rights, poverty, and that's it. And it's not positive. It's not something that's encouraging. It's not something that gets people to wake up in the morning and say, "I'm going to be somebody," right? And I've always found that problematic as a teacher, right? As an educator in the space. What ways did you saw that people actually tried to work around that and actually teach? Because I know you've seen a whole bunch of Black teachers who wanted to go against the grain based on.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I think so for me, now being real, when I started teaching,
Wait a
I
second.
didn't.
I think your mic was going crazy. Wait a second. Let me see.
Okay. Are we good?
No, it's like a buzz. It has a buzz on it.
Did I have the same thing before?
No. It just popped up now.
Okay. I unplugged my phone from charging on my computer. I don't know if that changed anything.
Oh no. Can you reconnect real quick?
Yeah, you want me to log out, log back in?
Yeah, log out. Let's
Okay.
bug it right now.
All right.
I'm just making sure I ain't bugging, man. It was a buzz, right? It was like a hard buzz. It just randomly happened. So we'll get that fixed real quick. Uh, we'll get that fixed, and then we'll keep going into this conversation. How's everybody doing, by the way? Remember to smash that like button so we can get more people in here. Algorithms care about that stuff, so we gotta worry about that. Okay. All right.
Is it the same? How we doing?
Ooh, we clear. We're very clear now.
Okay, that's crazy. That's crazy. They trying to mess us up, man.
And once you unplug like something, sometimes, especially if it's charging something, it just goes crazy.
Oh, okay. Dang. All right. There's too much going on this computer right now, man. But man, it's like, to your question, when I started teaching, bro, like I don't really know a lot of educators in my immediate circle at that time who were teaching the way I was and wanted to teach that way, to be real with you. So it was I kind of felt isolated a lot because I started teaching in Chicago at an alternative school. And at that point in time, I was really the only one teaching history in that school. So I didn't have that many issues. But when I taught at a school that was primarily led by white administrators, white educators, that's when it became more of an issue, but more of an issue because there weren't a lot of people really trying to challenge the status quo. So I'm teaching at a school at that point where it's majority Hispanic, Black, white, and mostly by and large 80-90% low income. So I went in there trying to teach all these transformative things. And these kids, I mean, I give you an example. Like I was actually reflecting on this the other day. I remember having a white kid, man, my first year in that district, my third year teaching. And I asked the class what they thought about the Black Panthers and what they knew. And a white kid was like, I heard they were like the Black version of the Klan. was what he said. You know, like little preconceived notions like that. And when we even talk about Africa, I would always start U.S. history with what African people were doing first, what indigenous people were doing first, what Europeans were doing first before we all came together so people knew. And that caused me to get behind a lot of the curriculum. But man, like truthfully, it took a while for me to meet other educators in our district who were actually trying to teach things that way. I think that's why my content and even what you're doing too connects with so many people, because I think people realize like we didn't get folks who was really trying to like spark something in our imagination when I was in the classroom. It's really a rare thing at each school.
Yeah, it's one thing about these comfort zones, right? Like people get into comfort zones and they don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to jeopardize their career or whatever, right? So they be walking on eggshells everything they do, and you know that does happen in education. A lot of people don't want to go and push envelopes and stuff like that. And unfortunately, what happens is our kids basically get education that screams second-class citizen. So
let me share this with you. I was actually just sharing this with a group of parents I was talking to, man. And I gave them this scenario because it was true for me. So I went to a high school that was like 99.99% black. And I remember my first year world history class. And now in hindsight, I didn't think anything was wrong with this. But our world history class, we start world history talking about ancient Greece. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even if we touch on Egypt at all, like it's like a footnote, or only when Greece was involved in the invasion and the conquest and everything. When I take English class, we learning about all the Greek gods, right? The Roman gods and all this. We don't learn about our mythology, our stories. But we had a school that's 99% black. So like, what merit does this have for me to learn about Zeus and all them, as opposed to Horus and all these folks? Like, that don't apply to my life at all then, and it don't apply now. So they even control our imagination. When you think of world history, you think it starts with them. You think of mythology, creativity, writing, you think it starts with them. And for the most part, I don't even think educators are really trained to teach our kids who they can truly be. And that's why I think like the stuff that you're doing, this is the type of stuff that needs to be added to schools and added to curriculums in every household.
Yeah, one thing I always thought was pretty cool was you know, I'm just a big like geek when it comes to like ancient stuff, right? So I'd be always looking at like the Three Kingdoms period of China, right? And they made a regular dude a god because of his feats in life. They said this dude is a god. It's like so you mean like Buddha? They say, no, not like Buddha. He's just a god. Period. So they made Guan Yu and made him an icon, like wow. You know, a military general, but they made him an icon because of his exploits in his life. And I just be laughing at that because I'll be like, that does a lot for people who are like normal people out there in China growing up. You know, Guan Yu was not some noble from a noble house and stuff like that. He was a regular hunter, right? And now he a god, right? He said, and you know, it's sad that we don't like we don't lionize our people, or at least we don't hear the stories of the lionized African heroes, right? Yeah. We only hear the, you know, westernized, super scraped down version, right, where nothing really existed prior to slavery, right? Yeah. And that's what we gotta do. We gotta basically you know, make this whole new avenue where it's not just acceptable to teach Black history, especially before slavery, but make it the most common form of Black history.
Straight up. Bro, we talking, even if we just start the timeline at like, let's just say throw out a number 5,000 BC, we talking 7,000 years ago, but all of us, we only know the last 400 years. And even with that, we give the date 1619. We don't even talk about the names or the people who were fighting back. So we might even really just be starting around Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, because most folks can't even name people from the 1700s, right? It's really, man, it's a fight. It's a fight, man, for our kids' imagination is how I look at it. If they don't have, sorry, go ahead.
100 years before America was invaded, not founded, but invaded, right. They were getting bodied by Africans. All them French people and stuff, they used to come down and get bodied by the Mali Empire and everything else. And they were like, nah, we good. We ain't gonna go there. Starting up, man. They said, how do we get these products for trade? Right? It's like, hey, weapon technology does change wars, right? Ain't nobody knew how to fight the Mongols because they ain't never see a mobile army like that where you could just ride to the next city in 3 days and just keep invading. They didn't know how to deal with that crap. So it took over almost all of Asia solo in one lifetime. You know, it's like people can't deal with technological advances quickly enough, especially over a long distance. So we got caught off guard. It happens.
Straight up.
For a long time, literally thousands of years, African African empires were huge.
Yeah.
You know, like the Mali Empire was bigger than all of Europe.
Yeah.
At one point in time.
Epicenters of the world where people went for knowledge and resources. And I mean, it's so crazy to think because so even with my wife's a math teacher in high school, and like she started employing this idea for the kids. So in Black History Month, she actually goes over Black mathematicians every day, and she starts in Africa and she talks about Imhotep and stuff. So she introduced this idea of, well, why are we calling it, the Pythagorean theorem if like he went to ancient Kemet to learn? So she'll talk about it as like Imhotep's theorem or the Kemetic theorem or something like that, just to kind of even reframe the way we think about this, because not only do they take over the historical narratives, but it goes to math too. So we talking like, no, we don't even question like, oh, who's Pythagoras? Like, it's literally a white dude they named this after who learned it from somebody. Everybody was coming there, man. And to your point about the war generals,
all the numbers come from the Sumerians. You know, we gonna act like, oh yeah, we did that too. Everything great was from white folks.
Exactly, man. Exactly. And we can't even like when we think of great generals, great leaders in war, great empires. Half the time we can't name our own people, our own civilization. So that does something, man. I often reflect on how, talking to these parents the other day about how our kids grew up watching Disney movies, but Disney skipped over Africa, and then they made a movie about Africa and then used animals like the Lion King. It's like based on the Sundiata, like epic, but like. So we can't even see ourselves in our continent as people. We have to imagine ourselves as Mufasa, as Simba. But then they got, I mean, Hunchback and just everything is like Hunchback, Notre Dame. They got, of course, all the other white stuff. Then even our Asian brethren, Native Americans, even though they get these stories wrong, they still are viewed as people. And we're just like animals on the savannah, nobody in sight, just no people around, period.
That's just the way we do it, man. But hopefully we're gonna stop all that, right? None of my characters turn to animals. Right? Like,
any of the videos ask you that yet? Like, so when do they turn to something else?
I know, right? It's just like Remember the Titans. What? You don't see the similarities?
Exactly, man.
Yo, man, y'all be out of control with that, man. Oh man, but yeah, I'm pretty lit about this as far as what's going on, because we do use a lot of like real world culture, right, in the Black Sand story, right. I'm trying to connect it where somebody who's a historian will watch this and be like, that's accurate, right? Even though the story is completely made up. Right, because our take on the mythological time period, I want them to be like, no. The Crete and Greece absolutely hated each other, so that's 100% accurate. That beef is real, right? It's like, and that kind of gets people like it gets people a little bit over the fence, right? I'm not trying to pander to people who are outside of our community, but the educated people of the world. Love Black Sands.
And that's the benefit of it, because people who are looking for entertainment are going to enjoy it. People who are scholars or trying to learn more are going to enjoy it too. But that's how you get people in. It's the edutainment. You get us in with the graphics, the storyline, the action, and then people are probably like, "Yo, what is this based on?" And they might want to do some research. Like, stuff like this is real important, man. I remember introducing my kids to your stuff, man, and just having them. Because one of my kids really loves like graphic novels and stuff too. Like that stuff has a tremendous impact on what they see, because we can watch all of Disney, but then let me show you this encounter. This is what a brother is doing right here in his crowdfunding and is making something right now for it. So, but even with that, man, I'm curious to know, like, what mode, and I know part of your story, but and I'm sure you said it a lot, but what was that transition like, man, that moment where you said, you know what, I got to go all the way in on this right here, not just do it for fun, you know?
Well, I think my biggest thing was I was kind of scared of like I was doing like video games at first, spent like $15,000 on that. So me and my wife were military veterans, so we do get our GI Bill and stuff like that, right? We were pretty well off from just benefits in general. So I had a little gambling money basically, right? I could be a little bit more reckless than most when it came to like ideas, but I was a little too reckless. I spent like $15,000 on a demo for the Black Sands. Right. And I realized I wasn't going to finish this video game. It probably cost me $80,000 in total to finish it. And I was like, nah, that's just too much for where I'm at, right? Just starting off. So I transitioned to a comic book, spent about $5,000 to do the first episode of Kids to Kings. And I went to Kickstarter and I said, look, Giselle, you know, if I make this, then, you know, then I can continue. But, you know, if I can't get the fans to lock in on this, then I'm probably just not that good. Right. And I had to do the 9 to 5 and call it a day. Right. But we did like 20,000. And when we did 20,000 instead of 4,000, I was like, okay, I guess I finally found my secret sauce. Time to ride this baby out. Right. And it kept getting bigger and bigger achievements from that point on. Right. And it was always a little bit better. It wasn't like something where it was like, and then the next like 6 months later, I had $1 million in sales. Like, nah, I was like, you know, I had a good month where I might get $45,000 in sales. And I'm like, oh, cool. I didn't know I could do that ever. Right. Let's see if we can do 60,000 to 80,000 a month for a whole year and see what happens. Right. How do we pull that off? Start strategizing it. Right. And you know, it's all about experimenting, but not overextending. Right. I'm sure there's plenty of times in my career where I've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars off of a bad play. Right. But I made sure not to lose everything off of it. Right. That's a small percentage of what I had at the time. You know, you have to be very careful. And I think I've also been very liberal on employing Black influencers. So I used to pay people all the time, like Black influencers on TikTok. I used to have like 10, 12 different influencers who probably never had freaking sponsors in their lives. Right. But I was like, yo, you said you push my content, maybe 8 posts a month or something like that, 8 quality posts a month, give you $1,000 for that, right? Right? It's like I had like 12 of them people on that. So I was going hard, and I was like, I'm only hiring Black people, so you know, it's dope. Right? You know, and you know, I think it's worked out for me, just being able to like hire Black people, give Black people opportunities to be voice actors or writers. You know, just give them opportunities out there, because you know, at the end of the day, goodwill is cumulative, right? Eventually, it's going to burst, and then I'm gonna get a nice goodwill bomb, right? So to me.
Straight up. I think even with this too, you're able to just see when you're able to raise money like this for this endeavor. I think it's proof that people are hungry for it, man. Like when I reposted the last video that we did, like the comments, everybody was just kind of like, oh man, I've been following them for a while. Oh man, I can't wait to see this. I'm excited about this. Like I think people are past ready, but whenever we are within a period in time in which we are visibly able to see our history being taken away, or people trying to take it away, or people trying to remove
things, right to a straight up attack.
straight up. And so this, I mean, even today, folks are boycotting. It's like, we need alternatives then. If we're not going to do this, we got to make sure people know, like, this is what you can be buying and supporting. And this is what
right there, man. That's a post right there, man. I've been trying all day. I'm shadow banned today. I've noticed that big time. None of my posts are getting over 100 likes. I'm like, y'all motherfuckers.
Straight up. No, this
today is the day y'all gonna do this to me.
You know what they do? Well, that's the thing, because everybody's been posting about, like, we boycott, we this. So they probably said, every Black person, let's just limit all they reach.
I know, man. I'm looking at like 100 likes. You gotta be kidding me, you know?
It's been kind of rough for me too, man. I've been looking at the numbers like something off about this, man. But I think that's important for people to know.
Man. I ain't getting no help today, but I got the base is fired off, so they're doing their thing. When they get off work, they're probably gonna go and break the bank. At the end of the day, we're doing good right now. We're almost at 1.8 million. Once we get there, that's where the big stuff happens. Because I believe once we hit 1.8 million, we're almost sold out at that point, and everything turns red, and then people panic, right? Yeah. Scarcity effect. Oh man, I'm not gonna make it. It starts coming an avalanche. So I hope we get to 1.8 with before 5 o'clock. That way we could just sprint to the end.
Yeah. You
never know.
So what's the timetable then look like moving forward in terms of how you imagine like the release, the writing process, and so when can everybody expect it?
Well, writing's all done. The animatic's all done. So you can actually watch a very ghetto version of the 90-minute movie, right? So it's like it'll be ugly as hell, but you see everything with all the voice lines and everything else in there. It's done, right? Completely. So that's done. We need to hire 100 animators, and well, we already have the 100 animators. We need to pay them, right? And then they can go and knock it out. So that's really what we're at right now. Is getting the capital to pay for full production for about 6 months straight, right? So you're looking at a late fall, early December. Early winter release, and that's if we hit max goal, which is like 2.25 million. Will we make it there? I don't know. I don't think so. I think we'll get very close though. Over 2 million, I'll be happy. I'll consider this a massive success if we got over 2 million, right? And that will be a strong. We could probably get it done this year, right? If we're under 2 million, most likely we're gonna have to do an additional 6 months because we have to negotiate with other parties to fill the gap, right? And that takes forever. You know how negotiations go, back and forth.
Back and forth. Yeah. So like, what's this been looking like too in terms of you got some big names, man, jumping on board too. Like, was it easy to get in touch with those folks? Was it difficult? Was it mutual?
Well, Eddie Griffin was a funny one because I just randomly ran into him in Las Vegas. Just random as hell in a place that was totally something that I expected to run into. And somebody spotted him that I was talking to, and I'm like, that ain't Eddie Griffin, man. What you doing over here? Right? Eddie Griffin, man. But then as he's talking this stuff, he started mannerisms. He said he do got his mannerisms though, but that can't be Eddie Griffin, right? Eddie got a very specific mannerism, and I was like, yo, Eddie! I did that, and then it didn't look, and I would see if he was gonna react. He ain't move a fucking muscle. I was like, is that Eddie or not? And then eventually I was like, I think it is Eddie, man. We gotta go talk to him. So we all went up to him, right, talking to him, and I was like, hey, man, Eddie, I ain't know you were gonna be here, man. I always wanted to talk to you for years. I was kind of in your DMs, right? he said, but nah, I'm here. I'm kind of shook, man, because I, you're one of my favorite comedians of all time, right? I love unapologetic Black people who are funny, And when I showed him the books, I was like, yo, I'm gonna give you these books right here. It's anniversary editions. I got these right here. They're all signed, right? I just want to give you these as a hell of it. He said, oh, I got these books. And I was like, son.
Wow.
He said, I got these for my kid, man. Yeah, I got these. I said, I'm a writer. He said, oh, really? Yeah. In fact, we're doing an anime right now, man. Maybe you might, you did some voice acting for some anime. He said, shoot, I'll do it right now. He said, let me go give you my number real quick. We can get this going. I was like, right? That's random. That's random, right? Now, Michael Jai was one that he worked with Carl Reed in the past on a different show, right? So, so he was like, all right, we'll just call him up again, right? And see if we can get him on this. And, Michael Jai don't like attaching himself to anything that ain't pro-Black, right? So he's definitely one of those but he loved what we were doing, right? And I didn't even know, but he's like a grandfather of 12 kids and stuff like that. He got an army, right? You don't know about that because he don't really talk about his personal life like that. But he's one of us, right? I look at all these grandparents who be investing in Black Sands, and they be like, they got 15 grandchildren, right? And they put everybody on.
They need their grandkids to see that.
Yeah. Now, one thing is this, right? We were talking a lot about the campaign and stuff like that, but your book's coming out at the end of March, right?
Yep.
So give people some, some real critical stuff about the book that they should be looking into.
Man, first off, I'm really excited because I just got my author copies in the mail. Yeah, man. So this is really cool for me.
Big ass book.
Yeah. Yeah.
5x5.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's up there, bro. So basically, how Black history can save your life. This book is the culmination of me writing about the racism I encountered throughout my life, systemic and overt, leading up to a hate crime I dealt with in 2016 that went viral. I think a lot of folks who engage in work like this, man, they'll have that moment where it kind of just sparked for them that they need to just up it a notch. Sometimes it could be something that happens personally. Sometimes it could be something big, like maybe what happened with George Floyd and everything. But for me, like, it was just, I was an educator. I loved Black history. I knew our kids needed this, but I was always just doing my work in the class. And it just so happened one day, me and my wife got into it with a white woman. We arguing over a beanbag, just the most inconsequential thing. And she starts calling us the N-word over it. And I'm just like out of my mind, like this is really happening. And she's trying to call the cops, the security guards to come help her while she's verbally assaulting us. So I take out my phone because I don't know what's about to happen. And it just escalates, man. She spits on us, bro. And this was like one of those moments where it's like, this is really happening to me. Like, of all people, I won't be bothering nobody.
Except I see on IG.
Exactly. It was one of those surreal moments because back then, World Star was big, and I was just like thinking, this is the type of shit that's happening on World Star all the time. So I just the switch was flipped. I was always this way in the class, but that's where it stopped. So I posted the video online. Then I started recording other vlogs to kind of share my thoughts on current events. People started asking me to speak, and I said I had to write this book because really a few months after dealing with this hate crime, I had a breakdown on the way to work because, like I told you, I'm going to a white environment. Like the racial battle fatigue is real. I'm this way all the time, and I'm in an environment where that's not celebrated or accepted. So I began to reflect and say, I need to really draft and write my story to show people, especially Black folks, that the things we encounter aren't our fault, but we can fight through it the more we know our history. You know what I'm saying? And that just kind of took me from starting at the age of 6. I was bused to a white neighborhood all the way through college, learning about Black history and loving it. And then so it gives people tools to advocate for themselves better. And then if you outside the community, you can kind of understand what we deal with more. And I think this is the book we need now to really figure out what we got to do moving forward. So literally it's how it can save your life. Because if you don't know who you are straight up, like you headed in the wrong direction.
That's true. 100%, man. So, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to open it up to the floor so people can start asking questions. You ask questions to Ernest over here. He got your answers. Trust me, he knew. And I'm also going to update everybody on the campaign where it's at right now. So I'll be sharing a screen of that so you guys can see it. Let's see. Is it this one? Yes, this one. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Bam. All right. So we got that there. And hey, if you got any questions, please leave them in the comment section. I'll start pulling them up for him. He'll be able to answer any of your questions. Let me see if I can make it smaller.
We almost there. Almost at 1.8.
Yeah, we almost there. We're doing pretty damn good right now. Wait a minute, that number's wrong. I must have not refreshed it. There we go.
There we go.
There we go. I said, wait a minute, man. What the hell is that?
Even better.
How did I lose 40,000? I'm tripping, right? Somebody said I had to refresh. I'm tripping.
From the donation.
Okay, so let's see here. Okay, this is actually a pretty cool question. So how about this one? I read to elementary classes daily in February. Where can I find better books for Black authors and role models in finance, history, and growth? The books given lacked substance. So, Lee, what are your book recommendations? You actually have a whole post on this, don't you?
Yeah, you know what? My book recommendation. So it's a lengthy list. I mean, I would say if you're talking about finance, what I would try to do is if I'm teaching speaking to elementary kids about finance, I want to look at historical figures that excelled financially, in our country or otherwise, and then
Yeah.
I'm going to look up a book because with some of that off the top of my head, I wouldn't be able to say, but I'm sure there's a book about a Madam C.J. Walker or something, right? About what she did. There might be a book, of course, a kid's book about Mansa Musa. I have a kid's book called The ABCs of Affirming Black Children that has Black American figures and African figures like a Mansa Musa included. So I would try to look up some of those folks who have done great things in our country's past economically, and then see, do they have a children's book too? If you're talking about historical figures. Now, in terms of finance, I mean, there's a wide range of things. I think in terms of finance for our community, I think we have to, and this is just my personal opinion, start to even look more so to not just those people who are able to amass millions and billions, but the people who are able to use that in a communal way collectively. So I'm thinking I'm real big now on like, how did folks finance stuff before we were getting grants from the government? Like this is the era of filling out that grant document for your nonprofit. But like Dr. King wasn't going to a 9-to-5. Malcolm X wasn't going to a 9-to-5, right? You might want to look up what Elijah Muhammad was doing with the NOA, because Elijah Muhammad wasn't getting grants. He had a whole ecosystem and economy. You know what I'm saying? You might want to look up like who was donating to Dr. King. Dr. King was getting donations from the people. So mutual aid is a big thing that we should be looking up examples of.
A lot of lawyers.
Yeah, a lot
of lawyers, black doctors, black lawyers and stuff. They were funding the King and stuff. They were the unspoken people who were funding them. They had own banks, they had own businesses, and they were funding large. It wasn't small donations. There was no good system for small donations back in the 60s and stuff. That wasn't a thing, right? You couldn't just show up and say, "I'm giving $5." That wasn't a thing.
Right.
It was individual black successful people who were quietly giving a shitload of money to MLK, right? And also the nation, right? The nation got massive individual donations from key people. Muhammad Ali probably funded like years of that nation stuff, right?
Exactly, man. No, it was literally like a form of tithing. Like we look at it now, like if folks who go to church, you look at it like I gotta get 10%. Like, but nobody looks at giving a 10% equivalency to a organization, a company, a nonprofit that's doing like feet on the ground type work. So I think we look at stuff like that. Let's look up O.W. Gurley, who got things in motion for Black Wall Street. And just the advantage of technology is, I would say that if you come across an historical figure like maybe an O.W. Gurley, Madam C.J. Walker, that did things financially that were great for our community, and they don't have a children's book, here's what I would do as an educator. I'm going to read to my students about who that person was, and then the challenge is going to be, y'all, let's make a class children's book for this person in. Have your kids draw the people. Y'all come up with the storyline. And then as we start to, again, talk about more of the more modern financial tips and things like that, you got to look up some of the more modern folks and figures. So I hope that helps out.
Can y'all see that on my trip? I don't know if it's going to focus enough. What does that say?
23,000 from Omari Brooks.
Omari Brooks.
My God.
Brooks. Thank you. Thank you, Omari.
Omari, yo. So we talk about finance. Omari.
I know, right? Somebody listen to this conversation, right? Somebody look and say, "What's no small donations?" Was I just saying that? I said it wasn't no small donations. It wasn't $5. It was like lawyers doing quietly. They were giving big money, right? And then then literally like a moment later, 23,000 from Omari Brooks. He said he was sick of waiting. He said, "I'm sick of Manuel Godoy talking about $1.8 million. Let's get it there right now so you can shut the hell up."
That's beautiful, man. So I think that's a good place to land my plane for whoever asked that question. Like, let's look at people who are giving and building whole ecosystems for Black people. We often talk about like the first Black billionaire, the person who made all this.
Yeah.
I want to learn about the whole community they built. You know what I'm saying? Who got Bronzeville in Chicago started? Who got, again, Black Wall Street, O.W. Gurley, Nation of Islam, Elijah Muhammad? Let's focus on that, and then we can enrich our kids in a better way.
You know what I want to do too, and when we do get more of a platform for all this, I want where we're educating people like sports people, right? People who are in college, they're probably gonna go into the NBA or the NFL, whatever, right? And teach them that the financial advice you're getting is not good. I know they're saying you need to get a financial advisor and a manager and stuff that's going to do this. Managers mess up your money all the time. Managers mess up a lot of actors' money. A lot of actors out there that probably had movies that were going to absolutely change their career, but their managers got greedy. They were demanding stuff that were absolutely absurd and dragging things out for months. And then the other people were like, I'll just go with this person. And you lost your opportunity, something that you were very excited about because you didn't have any part in the negotiations. You let your management do it, and your management's looking out for themselves. They want their 20% of whatever the hell is being made, right? And if it's not good enough for them, then it's not good enough for you, not the other way around, right? So I want them to be able to see this because, think about how many people would have invested in Black Sands, right? If they were the ones making the decision instead of a team of people.
Exactly.
The whole Shark Tank thing fell apart because of a team. It was like Kevin Hart's super excited about it, wants to get it done, right? Management team is like, we got to push things back. We're focused on our movies. We can't do this right now. We can't amplify this. We can't attach our name to this. We got to protect the brand. It's like Kevin said, do it. Do what he said. I said he was right in the meeting. He said, do what they're doing. Like management teams can be absolutely disastrous for people, right? And at the end of the day, things aren't exactly going exactly as planned today for a lot of the people who turned on Black Sands, right? So what happened was just simply fact is that they do set up bad opportunities sometimes. They think what's right and what's wrong, and then what happens is sometimes their calls are horrible, and the person who's really the person that's going to lose, right? They got to eat it. They got to somehow make it make sense, right? But it's like that wasn't even their plan in the first place. You were going on a plan that you said was better for them, but you weren't listening to them at all. You weren't listening to them, So I do like what Homeboy's doing over in Boston. What's that?
Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown. Like what he's doing, he's just going in. He's not asking anybody for advice. He's just saying this is what I want to do, and then he's making people do it for him. But he's not asking people if it's a good idea or not. He said, "This is my mission. This is what I'm going to do."
He said, "We're rebuilding it." And to that point, to the person that asked the question, I think it's also a good time to, like you said, rethink how we even talk about finance because we're going into a different era. And even still, some universal laws are always going to be there. Our ancestors jumped into the game trying to get land first, and that's always going to be a big thing in this country. When you think about as soon as we gained freedom, we wanted that 40 acres. And for a lot of folks, even though we didn't get what we deserved, we still found a way to get it. There's somebody I know personally now, I would say a modern day historical figure. There's a brother in Chicago named Jamal King who has this book, I think it's called 9 to 5 Millionaire, who talks a lot about, utilizing real estate. So that might be a good person to kind of check out and see how you can kind of utilize those principles for your children too.
Yeah, 100%. Like you said, at the end of the day, people need to understand. And me personally, you should definitely have your kids manage money. Like now, my kids have way too much money on their hands. They don't like spending their money for nothing, right? So sometimes they might, but most of the time they don't spend their money on nothing. So they just been saving up a lot of money. But I gotta start thinking of ways to get them to start thinking about their money, how to use it, and everything else. What's considered a decent buy versus something that's just, what's considered like casual money that you should just, I just use it because I want to feel good today. Just start thinking that way, right? Because I think we don't do that. Giselle asked, where can we get the book? You got a website link that I could probably put in the comment section?
So my website is ernestcrim.com. So that's ERNESTCRIM.
Let me make a banner for it real quick.
Thank you. Yeah, and of course I'm on social media. I forgot to mention that I do social media videos, Instagram, TikTok, all of that Black History videos. That's at MRCrim3. I got all my links on there.
All right. So you said You said Ernest Crim, right? No
Yeah.
dots in there. Just ernestcrim.com or what?
Yep. Yep. ErnestCram.com. I'll put it in the chat for you too.
Okay,
Yep.
good.
Yep.
Let's
So everybody out there, it's ERN. I'm not EAR. It's ERNESTCRIM. Social media is at MRCrim3, like a teacher, Mr. Crim.
So let me see if this works. You see that
Yeah.
scroll on the bottom? Is that right?
That's it. Thank you very much.
All right, there you go. So go there if you want to get his books. Okay?
Yeah. Books, booking information, all of that. All of that.
Let's see what else we got here. Let's see if we got any other questions. Oh, somebody trying to take the shirt I was wearing yesterday. He said, "I don't sell them anymore, man. That's limited edition, bro. That's it." Tolu said he added another $1,000 today, making
Nice.
6,000 total. Appreciate you, brother.
That's
He said he was on the call last night. Let's see. So if we got no more questions, then I will let Ernest go because this man is busy as hell this month. All right. He said, Black History did just save his life. It booked up all his time.
Man, brother. Man. Again, just like we were saying, we realize just how needed this is, bro. And I'm seeing it. That's why I had to leave my job and do this.
At this point, you're a heavyweight boxer because the attack on the Black community, especially in schools, is unprecedented right now. So I know your ass is getting booked.
Oh man, bro. And it's on both ends. It's like I'm getting booked a lot, but then it's also I've had clients I've worked with in the past who now aren't able to work with me like they want to because them budgets are getting slashed too, man. So
yeah.
Any way we can support each other this way that we're doing now, community support, crowdfunding, we got to make sure we're doing it for our people. So, man, thanks for having me on your platform, brother.
Oh, 100%, yo. I love it. My bad. Where's your thing at? Wait a minute.
You kicked me off, man. You kicked me off.
Can I see you? What is going on here?
It's like as soon as you said I was getting ready to go, StreamYard said, all right, kick him off.
But you're there.
Yeah,
I've seen you. I'm here.
Okay,
finally. My bad. I think people missed the monologue. You got to do it again. I missed.
I was just saying, like, so I am very booked this month and beyond, but also I have a lot of clients who I've worked with in the past, and people who want to work with me moving forward. But being real, those budgets, y'all, this is having a real impact. People at university saying they don't have the money. People at school saying Title I money is in limbo. So in any way that you can support people who are doing this education work, like we don't have a safety net. This is what we doing, like crowdfunding this movie, like me putting out these books, doing social media content, going to schools. This, like going back to what we said before, when you talk about how King and them and X and Rosa Parks and them got support, it was from people. And I think we truly need to uplift names like that even more, those organizations, those people, those lawyers, because without them, we can't survive because we teach, but then we got to eat too. You know what I'm saying?
That's real. That is real. All right, brother. So thank you so much for being here, man. I'm going to stick around a little longer so I can go answer any questions about the investment round. But yeah, Ernest Crim, man, go ahead and get his book and make sure that everybody knows about it, especially in the local school districts. All right. Any local school districts, high school, middle school is probably a good read for them to go and get into their stuff, and college, right? And college.
Man, this is a guide for, parents. I would say high school and up for reading, but it's really good for parents and community members that want to learn more too. So definitely check that out. I appreciate you, brother, for sharing your platform. I'm going to talk to you soon.
All right, bro. Peace. All right. So what are we doing here? Who the heck did this? So I'm chilling here talking about stuff. I'm talking about the civil rights movements and how it was lawyers and doctors who were just going big, helping people from the background. And then we get a $23,000 investment within 60 seconds of me saying that on the screen, on the stream. What the heck, man? What the heck? Let's see. Someone asked, so please ask any questions you got. I got you guys. I'm gonna answer your questions. I think we're gonna hit that 1.8 million by 3 o'clock. It's 12 minutes from now. I think we'll make it. 12 minutes from now. Yeah, I think we'll make that 1.8. And once we hit that 1.8, I hope it switches to almost sold out. I hope to God it goes to almost sold out so people stop panicking. You know what I mean? Let's see what we got here. Clarifying that Mr. Mercer, the 5,000 total investment in Black Sands anime will reflect after pending 2,500 is confirmed. Okay, cool. Thank you. Let's see what else. Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, man of God said we gonna work for that 2 million. That's for sure, 100%. With the early bird and regular profit sharing, will the pay be sent separately and future? Just curious. I don't think it's gonna be separate because they're just gonna pay everybody out at the same time. So it's going to be combined, but it's not gonna be 30%. It's not gonna. It's gonna have like two different like amounts, but it's gonna be combined so quickly that you won't be able to tell. You know what I mean? Like you won't be able to tell if it's two separate payments. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just going into your account. There's no like different line items, or at least I don't know if there's different line items. They might keep a ledger for like the payments that you get, and if they do, then it probably will be two different line items. But if it's not ledgered there how on which payments come in, then it's probably gonna be one big lump from Black Sands the anime. Oh, let's see what else. Any other questions? I'm going to be on Zoom tonight, the entire night. So I'm going to be on Zoom from 5 o'clock until like 10, right? And that's because I'm going to be answering questions directly from investors, pumping up them numbers and trying to get people as excited as possible and investing tonight. This is it. At 12 o'clock tonight, campaign's over, and whatever we have is what we have. We don't get a single dollar more. We can't get no more investing after that. So 12 o'clock at night is the last hoorah, right? And, that's why you see a lot of big investments coming in today because they don't get a second opportunity or a third opportunity. This is it. This is the whole shebang. You know what I mean? J.K. Smith says, will there be shirts at the premiere? Yeah, 100%. We'll have merchandise at the premiere for sure. We'll have shirts there and stuff like that, just so you guys can have some memorabilia. It's not going to be marked up at some crazy price. We're probably going to sell it to you at like the cost of print, right? Plus shipping. So we're going to sell it to you for like $10 or $15 for a fully sublimated shirt that usually will cost like $40. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, we want people who come out to the premiere to have an amazing time, right? And to have it be a memorable experience. So yeah, we're going to be doing that. Okay? That's for the premiere ticket people. So if you ain't at 2,000, get there. If you ain't at 2,000 yet, if you're at like 1,000 or 1,500, man, finish that off and get the 2,000 so you can get the premiere tickets. So you can go to the premiere. Yeah, I'm shocked, man. I feel good about that. I like the fact that we have some really big people coming in like that, man. I did not expect that kind of number. To be hitting the campaign. 23,000 in one swoop. That feels good. Feels real good. That's a lot of 250s, right? Right? That's a lot of 250s. Let's see. You can go check other things real quick. Location for the premiere most likely is going to be so here's the question. Where is it going to be? Most likely Washington, D.C., right? National Harbor or something like that. National Harbor in D.C. I love D.C. I think it's a beautiful place. And more importantly, it's the center of Black wealth in America. That DMV area is the center of Black wealth in America. You've never seen happier Black people than you've seen in the DMV. I am dead serious about that too. These are the happiest people on earth. You just sense the happiness in the air. No one got an attitude. Nobody's angry. Everybody happy to them up, owning every single business in the entire area, right? All the banks, everything. Everything's Black owned. I love it. It's a beautiful place. Let's see. Also, if you do 5K, you get the gold card benefits. Yeah, you get all the gold card benefits. That is the special credits in the movie at the end. The gold card, right? The gold card. And what else do they get? Oh yeah, the books. You get anniversary editions. This is a new one that's not at the campaign, but you guys know it if you've seen my lives. All of my gold card members are going to get the anniversary edition signed, right? Copy of the anniversary edition. So these bad boys right here, right? You get all these signed. These are the limited edition ones, signed by both me and my artist, David Linneman. So 5 books, hardcovers, hieroglyph. Let's see here. What do the investors get? I don't know what that means. What do the investors get? I return again. I don't know what that means. As far as investing is profit sharing. So investors are going to get profit sharing. So whatever you invested, you're going to get a multiple of that back, right? It really depends. How much you get is based off the box office, right? We do really good, you'll get a lot of money. We do horrible, you get no money, right? So it really depends. I have not been able to find Deborah Wilson's voiceover video. Yeah, I didn't get that recording. I wasn't able to catch that recording. So no, I don't have it. I don't have Deborah Wilson's, unfortunately. Sandra Brand says she did another 250 today, going up to 1,000. As a family, up to 3,500. Okay, so the family did 3,500 in total, and you individually did 1,000. That's awesome. See, that's what I like. See, this is the thing. This is the thing that people don't understand. I love when like people really like network with each other and let the family know, the friends know. Hey, I'm investing 1,000. You should do 500. You should do 500. Right? And everybody's basically collaborating to do these things. You know what I'm saying? So me personally, if you guys send me an email of like the members of the family who came together on this, right? We could probably give you like a special like access where we'll give everybody a silver card instead of bronze. You know what I mean? Because that's silver tier. 3,500 for the family is silver tier. So everybody participated, right? So I think all of them should be rewarded at the highest level because that's the family unit doing that for us. You know what I mean? So just let me know in the email, right? And I'll make it happen. I'll make it happen. Let's see what else. We need the miracle of it being funded today. Hey, it's going to have huge jumps. It's going to, after we pass 1.8 million, I was told by my advisor at WeFunder that we'd most likely get the red button. So what happens is this green bar becomes red, and then it has big warning letters on it that says almost sold out. And once that happens, people start panic investing, right? So I really want that. That's why we got to get past 1.8 million so that we can get that panic going. Yeah, we're gonna make people like turn their phones in. You know what I mean? Like ain't nobody gonna have a phone. Ain't nobody gonna have a phone, period. In the what's it called? We gonna make sure of that, right? Because we gotta protect the IP, man. We gotta get into the movie theaters the right way. And it ain't even a trust issue. It's just straight up, you know, got to protect the brand as much as possible, man. Yeah. Let's see. Do we have any more questions? If not, then I'm going to go and log off. Thank you guys so much for supporting us. So much, man. We really are doing historic things right now. And, you know, couldn't be more blessed to have a community like this backing me up. Right? This is it, man. This is what my career was about. This is my entire career right here. It's flashing before your eyes. All right. My entire career is flashing before your eyes in this campaign. This is it. This is me. This is my everything I've ever done. So, you know, hopefully this breaks everything. Hopefully this breaks the entire industry. and we really set the tone for future projects, right? And the power of the black dollar isn't this cool that this is like one of the first times ever we can really show the power of the black dollar? You know what I'm saying? Like, what happens if this does do 100 million at the box office, right? What happens? That shows that the black dollar can just create wealth. You know what I mean? It's one thing to say, oh, black people shopped at Target and Target's wealth went up. That's different, right? Or black people went to see Black Panther and we made $1 billion. We didn't make $1 billion. Marvel did. But when we fund something ourselves, so we fund it, and then we send it to the movie theaters, and then we make hundreds of millions of dollars for ourselves, that shows the black dollar as powerful, right? Because it's all internally circulated. Black people use their labor to get their wealth. Then they use their wealth to invest in a project. The project made a lot of money through those black dollars, and then those black dollars were redistributed to the black people who put the wealth in the first place, causing them to have more wealth. That's a perfect circle. That's a perfect circle of like of community economics. And most of the time, we never have that. We might be able to patron black businesses, but even if we blow up a store in a black neighborhood, right? And we blow up a store in a black neighborhood, or get a black restaurant really rave reviews and a lot of business, that doesn't affect the wealth of that community, right? It affects that individual family's wealth, but it doesn't affect everybody's wealth because we're not investors. We don't own anything in that business. That business is successful. That's good for his family or her family, but that's not good for all of us, right? It's as that we just have a decent service in our community. This right here will make people wealthy, right? This right here will make people wealthy, period. The person who just invested, Omari, who just invested $23,000, if this goes to $100 million, they're looking at getting close to like, I don't know, $300,000, $400,000 returned. $300,000 to $400,000 returned for a $23,000 investment. That is Bitcoin numbers. That is Bitcoin numbers in the good days. You know, when people had no clue what the hell Bitcoin was. So all I'm saying is this is a great opportunity for us to finally flex, and we're doing it right now. We're flexing hard. So keep pushing people, keep letting people know about this. If you feel you got even more money you can put in, throw it in. Right? Today's the day, the only day. And I'll see you on the other side. 5 o'clock, I'll be back on a Zoom. We can have our conversations there, and we can just have a party. You know what I mean? Black Sands out. Peace.